Under what circumstances do you think a young guy at that spot would benefit from sitting? Or is your philosophy more like just you got to push through it and that's how you grow, you know?
Yeah, I think it could go either way, right? I mean,
Yeah.
there's certain guys that throw guys into the fire early, and there's other guys that let them sit back and watch. So obviously playing, like I've said before, the more you play, the more you learn at that position. But is there benefit sometimes in sitting back and watching? Yeah, of course there is. And so those are just conversations that go on in the off season and constantly going on through NFL football teams.
Is he starting Sunday?
We are evaluating everything.
End of the things didn't go well at the end of the first half. Anthony's 2 of 15. Was there discussion at halftime about going to Joe or not?
No, there wasn't.
But I don't want to read too much into what you said, but when you said you're evaluating everything on him starting Sunday, is there a question that he starts Sunday in Minnesota?
Like I said, we're evaluating everything, not just the quarterback, everything. Like we all got to be better. I mean, we're sitting at 500. And, I think, looking back at what we've done, there's a whole bunch of areas that we can improve on. I'm not just talking about the quarterback. I'm talking about everything. And we got to be better moving forward.
Shane, in the past, you've kind of said when we've asked you about starting Joe, you've said Anthony's going to start. Is it just the way the passing game's gone that's led you to evaluate that part of it?
Yeah, I think, obviously there's a whole bunch of different things, right? I mean, there really is. It's not just one guy, right? It's everything. We got to just look at the whole big picture and look at our football team, look at our roster, look at our personnel, look at our scheme, and then we go from there.
You say you're going to evaluate everything. Did the self tap out thing, did that factor into this at all?
No, it didn't.
Okay, just to make sure. And then secondly, just to get it on the record, I guess. So you're saying, is Anthony your starting quarterback right now or not?
Right now, today is, yes.
Just you don't know for the upcoming game if he is a starting quarterback.
We're evaluating.
Okay.
All right, I'll start off just by confirming Joe will be our quarterback going forward. Tough decision, but one I felt was in the best interest of our football team. Feel that Joe gives us the best chance to win right now. With that being said, not giving up on Anthony by any means. Really not. He's a young player with a ton of talent, and he'll use this time to continue to develop and grow as a professional.
Shane, do you have the final say in who starts at quarterback?
Yes, I do.
This was your decision?
It was my decision, yes.
Can you explain maybe why you made it now versus, 9 days ago you were saying this guy was quarterback?
I'm just looking at where we're at as a football team, sitting at 500 with a lot of football left. And just feel that Joe gives us the best chance going forward.
How did you wrestle with the long-term implications, for the franchise and for Anthony specifically?
Yeah, no, it's a great question. Obviously, it's a difficult thing, but again, it's my obligation to 53 guys in this organization, to win football games. And right now, I'm focused on the present, winning football games, and we'll get to the future when we have to get to the future.
Will Anthony be back up?
Say that again? Yeah, he'll be the backup. Yeah.
Shane, what input did Jim Irsay have in this decision?
He didn't. Like I said,
Did you meet with him
we
about
had
it?
conversations, but ultimately it's my decision.
Shane, what role, if any, did the tap out play in this decision?
It didn't. I mean, he knows that he can't do that in that situation. That's part of the growth and the development process that we go through. And again, I think Joe gives us the best chance right now going forward.
Is Joe your starting quarterback the rest of the season, or is
Right now he is, yes.
So right now he's your quarterback?
He's our quarterback going forward, yes.
Shane, how do you feel Anthony handled the news?
It's tough. I mean, anytime you get that news, it's tough. You know what I mean? To lose, not be the starter anymore, it's tough. But you know what? I think he's going to handle it the right way going forward. Be a professional about it. Grind, get ready, prepare like you're the starter. Because shoot, he's still one play away.
Shane, do you feel like you need more work ethic commitment from Anthony?
I wouldn't say that. I think he's developing as a pro, and we go from there.
Shane, you all preach that he has to play to get better, so how did he get better by not playing?
Yeah, that's a great question. I know I said that, and things change there. So I think right now, sitting back and seeing a veteran that's done it at a high level for a long time, you can develop that way as well, and continue to go through that process and learn.
Shane, did Anthony in any way, do you think, lose any confidence from his teammates, whether through the play or what happened on Sunday or anything?
I can't speak on
Okay.
that.
Do you take the temperature of guys on things like this?
You try to gauge it as best you can.
Right.
Yeah.
And he did say just a game ago that you need to put him in better situations, so I guess why not start with finding different situations versus just benching?
Yeah, I mean, that's a good question. I just feel that where our team's at, I feel that Joe gives us the best chance to win right now, and we're trying to put a winning product on the field. It's my job. I'm responsible for the offense, the defense, the special teams, and we're trying to win games, and that's where it's at.
Are there other things beyond like the obvious numbers, completion percentage and stuff that we're not seeing that Anthony's also struggling with in terms of like making the wrong read, cadence issues, operational stuff?
No, I think with anything, right, with any young player, it does take time to develop, and we go through that process week in and week out, and that's where it's at. And this is going to be a great, learning experience for him, just to keep developing in a different way. But yeah, like I said, not giving up on him by any means.
What can you do to get that job back?
What's that?
What can he do to get that starting role back?
I think he just needs to keep developing and growing as a professional, and obviously just every little thing, all the little things, details, all those little things, we go through that. I mean, he's a young player. I think he's the second youngest, player in the league at the position, and just keep developing.
Shane, I know you talk about you guys are 4-4, but here we are in November.
Mm-hmm.
Why now? Why now with the change?
Just looking at where we're at and looking at our roster and looking at our team, there's tough decisions that got to be made, and I feel that it's in the best interest of our football team right now to go with Joe going forward.
There's really no precedent in the NFL benching a rookie quarterback and coming back to that team and having success. Why do you feel like that'll be different?
You know what I mean? You just go through the process. I can't predict the future. I really can't. But again, I do, but we're not losing faith in him. You know what I mean? And so this will be a time for him to keep developing as a pro, and we'll see where it goes.
Have you seen? Do you feel like you've seen a progression in Anthony this year? Because there are times last year where I might argue he played at a higher level at times. I mean, has it been less consistent this year?
I don't know. I got to go back and look at last year's tape. But again, you're trying to grow every single week. And he's made strides in that. And again, it's a tough decision that I had to make. You know what I mean? But I just feel it's in the best interest of our football team right now.
Shane, can you think Anthony will start for the franchise again?
I can't predict that, but I'm not losing faith in that. I promise you that.
Is that the plan?
I can't predict the future, but I mean, that would be great. We'll see.
Shane, sitting this year versus last year, what's different for Anthony?
Looking back at last year, just with him coming in, Gardner obviously stepped in, did some good things, but felt, that he was, put him out there. Obviously he got hurt last year, and then this year going through, some stuff. It's a tough situation. It really is, and that's just where it's at.
Shane, you said you're looking at your team where you're at. What are you looking at? Is it the passing efficiency? Is it trying to go make the playoffs? Like, what are you looking at?
Yeah, we're trying to make the playoffs. We're trying to make a push right now, going into November and December, and feel that Joe gives us the best chance to do that.
And what way is the schedule over the next 4 weeks going to play your decision, just the level of opponents that you have over the next 4 weeks?
Yeah, I mean, we got a tough stretch right here. Obviously, Minnesota, our focus right now is on Minnesota. They're a damn good football team, offensively and defensively. And then we got some other opponents down the road. But yeah, we go from there.
What ways do you think Joe gives you a better chance to win Anthony right now?
I think just his experience. You know what I mean? He's been playing a long time. And then when he's had to step in and play this year, he's been really efficient. Going back to last year, he's a Super Bowl winning quarterback. So that's where it's at.
Shane, Ryan, and Z, for example, have been outspoken about this. What role did that leadership council play in your decision at all?
I had conversations with those guys that I'll keep private. But, like I said, I just feel it's in the best interest of the football team right now today.
Shane, just to reiterate, this is not a 1 week benching.
No, Joe will be our guy going forward.
What's your process in making a tough decision like that? How do you gather information?
Yeah, I'm just looking at the whole picture. I'm looking at where we're at in the season, where everything's at, our football team, all 3 phases, and just feel right now that Joe gives us the best chance right now.
I know you're telling Anthony that you still believe in him and have confidence in him, but since he got here, you and everyone else have been telling him you got to get better by playing. We believe in you. You'll stay on the field. I mean,
no doubt.
How do you get him to believe in you now? I guess.
Yeah, I know that's a great question. I think it's this is going to be a great learning experience, for all of us, for him, and just continue to develop in a different way. You know what I mean, with the preparation stuff and seeing a guy like Joe Flacco, that's been doing that at a high level.
Do you think your locker room is unified on this decision?
I can't speak for our team.
Shane, from a playing standpoint, was it the passing game? Like, what are you looking for with Joe?
Yeah, I mean, Joe's obviously an efficient passer that's been doing it at a high level. And again, I just feel that Joe gives us the best chance right now.
Hey Shane, as you guys, obviously Joe is the plan the rest of the way, but as you guys continue to evaluate things, obviously there was like a certain amount of leeway Anthony got. Is that similar with Joe? Like, is there a certain limit before you guys make another switch, or you just want to stay pat?
Yeah, we'll stay pat with Joe going forward right now.
Shane, I know you just mentioned that Joe is your quarterback moving forward. After a performance like that, why and how do you, I guess, just instill belief in this team that he can go out there and get the job done?
Yeah, it was one game. It was one game that he went out there. And again, we got a lot of football left. We got 8 left. We got Buffalo this week, and looking forward to that challenge.
Shane, there have been a number of national reports that in the last couple of days that the reason that Anthony isn't starting anymore is mostly due to a lack of game preparation. If that's true, why was he starting in the first place?
Yeah, I addressed that last week. I don't know where there's reports out there all the time. So yeah, I addressed that last week. There's no issues there.
Shane, what's like a normal week for Anthony to look like right now compared to obviously what he was doing?
I mean, preparing like he's the starter. You know what I mean? Getting his work in, meetings, everything, rehab, all those different things, treatment, watching film. I mean, process stays the same. Keep grinding through it.
What do you think he's taken to that so far?
He's been great. Had a good conversation, brief conversation with us this morning. He's been good. He's taken it in stride, continue to develop and learn.
You said prep like the starter. Is the only difference just the reps in practice?
That's it. I mean, obviously you don't get the reps in practice, but you still got to be ready, locked in, engaged. Obviously, walkthroughs when you're not getting the reps, taking the mental reps, and going from there.
Shane, did you consider going to Richardson at all?
I did it right there. Until I say otherwise, right now, Joe's looking at it right now.
Shane, he's had 6 turnovers last 2 weeks, 1 and 3 with him at the start of the season. Why is he still the guy?
Obviously, just a guy that's a veteran guy. Obviously, we've had 2 games that that he'd like to have back, but we'll keep battling through it and see where it goes.
There was some scattered boos throughout the game. What's your reaction to?
Yeah, I mean, shoot, we got to give him something to cheer about. Obviously, when you're not moving the ball, we got to be better. We got to go back and freaking get it cleaned up. We've got a lot of football left. Obviously, got a big one coming up against the Jets. So we'll get it cleaned up tomorrow, come back into work, and that's what we got to do.
Do you believe Joe still give you the best chance to win?
Yeah, right now.
And I guess, again, why is that?
Just his veteran leadership that he brings to our football team.
Joe's last 3 starts include your 2 lowest yardage outcomes of the season, and then today's 4 turnovers. So,
yeah.
Like, at what point do you reassess if it's about trying to win right now?
Yeah, I think we look at everything every week. Right now I'll go back and look at the tape, but right now Joe's our guy.
You did say that you made this move in the interest of winning. I mean, he's 1 and 3 as a starter.
Yeah.
Does that not give you pause?
I understand. Like I said, I'm going to go back and look at everything, but right now that's where I'm at with it.
Offensively, it feels like last year you guys were able to find some answers in tough situations. Has that been harder this year?
I mean,
so why?
Yeah, we got to get going a little bit. We have our moments. Like I said, we turn the ball over, and it's hard to win when you lose the turnover battle. So we haven't done a good job of that, and that's going to be a big point of emphasis going forward. We talk about it every week, preach it, but we got to do better at it for sure.
Is there anything Anthony can do in the locker room or in practice to make you reevaluate?
Yeah, I mean, he's going through that process every week. Preparing like the starter, going through his process, getting his reps. Out there on the practice field. We go from there.
Yeah. Your team has been pretty resilient in every game up to this point. How do you sell them on this playing, like I said, quarterback when it looks like this the last 2 weeks?
I think you got to keep believing. It's never about one guy, man. It's the ultimate team game. You're going to go through adversity in football season. That's how you come through the adversity. You know what I mean? You got to go back to work, be professionals, come in every single day with the right mindset to get better. And that's what we got to do as professionals, and we got to go get better.
Shane, will Joe start against the Jets?
Joe will be the starter for the Jets, yes.
And then to follow up, I know you talked about his veteran leadership, things like that. I'm just curious to know, optically, like, how do you explain the Anthony decision, the Joe Flacco decision when it's looked as bad the last 2 weeks, and you're sticking with this guy?
Yeah, no, I understand the question. Joe's a veteran guy, like I've said. He's had 2 games that he'd want back. Um, but again, he goes out there, throws some good passes. Obviously, the interceptions, there's 3 of those. There's 2 that he'd want back. Again, you just stick with it. You grind through the process of this whole thing, man. It really is a process. So we're going through that process right now, and right now Joe's still our guy.
Jake.
Yeah, so obviously no one wants to be losing, obviously, but with this move being made to win games and it's this clunky, what do you feel like you guys are getting out of this without having, your young developmental quarterback out there?
Yeah, no, it's a great question, Jake. I understand it. I still think we're in the thick of it right now, with our record and stuff, and it's not over yet. So obviously we got a great opportunity this week against the Jets, and we got to have a great week of preparation, and we go from there.
And then following up that, you guys have struggled in short yardage with Joe. Is there a thought to put Anthony in there? What has kept you from using Anthony in a short yardage package?
Yeah, I won't get into the scheme stuff of it, but yeah, obviously he would help there.
Shane, and again, this is just to, I guess, clear the air or get some understanding. When we talk to you, we talk to AR, we talk to Cam Turner, like no one will say specifically what Anthony needs to work on. Can you just explain like what he did or didn't do or must do, not do to improve? Because everything that we always hear is, oh, everything, or he has to, like, can anybody be specific about this?
Yeah, I think it's just consistent with the process. That's what it is. Just you got to go through the process every single day, and that's where it's at. You know what I mean? He's a great person, phenomenal human being. Like I said, not ever losing faith or trust in him. We're going through a process right now, and that's where it's at.
Can you explain the process? Like, has he been late? Has he not prepared the right way? Like, we hear those words, and
yeah.
You can take it, and I'm just trying to understand, not to put any words in your mouth or spin anything. Like, what does that mean?
Yeah, well, like I said, we're going through a process, James. That's it.
Hey Shane, with your offense, I mean, at times it's looked like maybe you could use a spark or something like that. I think hypothetically, Anthony with his skill set, he definitely has that ability to provide that. He is obviously a little more boom or bust than a veteran like Jen. Is there any validity to that line of thinking, and has that entered into your thinking at all?
Yeah, you go through a process every single week, Steven. You really do. And right now we're sticking with Joe, and Anthony's continue to grow, and we'll go from there.
One quick one, Shane. I know you said with Joe you're evaluating. There's been 2 games. Are you evaluating all 4 of the starts as well? I would assume, like, not to.
Yeah, I mean, shoot, when he went in there and played, obviously those other games, he had to step in there. He played good football. And we got the faith that he can get that thing going like he was those other 2 games. Obviously, he'd love to have those, last 2 games back, just like everyone would. And that's where we're at.